Thank you and for joining me today at the Invita Whiteboard. We're going to continue on our conversation of understanding chronic disease, autoimmunity, and infectious disease, okay, and how these are all related. And in addition to that, obviously toxins and heavy metals play into that. Now, the part that I want to focus on to this series is understanding how this is a whole body disease, okay? This is not just a disease that isolates itself to one area. It becomes a whole body disease. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw Bob again here on our right side of our board. And at this point, Bob's infectious disease load is increased. We know that he has all these infections. We mentioned them before: Lyme disease, Bartonella, Babesia, HHV6. He may have any one of these, cytomegalo, amongst many other infections. This is just to give you an idea, as I've been using in the series. And in addition to that, we know he already had a trigger. Remember, we know he had a trauma, okay? We know he had a trauma. A brick fell when he was constructing his house, hit him on the head. It was his first trauma, a traumatic experience. And we said that trigger could be, we talked about in the other series, emotional, physical. It could be an oral, dental infection. It was a trauma that's in the body that's a trigger, okay? We've gone that far. Now, why is this such a big body disease? Well, let me break it down. So over here, I'm going to draw an entire circle so you can see it like a pie. And I'm going to start to break down how this affects the entire body. First thing, these infections have a major attack on inflammation. So inflammation goes up. And the inflammation affects the entire cardiovascular system. So the first thing that starts to happen is inside the vasculature, I'm going to draw over here a little blood vessel again. We start to have this trauma, big trauma on the inflammation on that inside that blood vessel wall. And now we start to lay down more fibrin being a thick sediment of the clotting factors, and that vascular membrane loses its vascular ability. It loses its membrane. The wall of the blood vessel isn't as flexible as it used to be. Okay, it loses its rigidity. In addition to that, you have the infection laying down something called biofilm, biosludge inside the blood vessel wall. So now we have impaired oxygen. We have a decrease in oxygen, decrease in nutrients, getting to the brain, the heart, the blood vessels, the hands, the feet, and the extremities. We now have an impairment because we have this chronic inflammation that's being set up by this infection. Okay? The second thing we have is a total breakdown in the hormonal system. Thyroid and adrenal glands get attacked. And these are very important because these are necessary hormonal pathways. The thyroid, the master gland that controls so much of the hormone pathways in the body. The adrenals located above our kidneys to help us address stress and shocks and traumas in our body. So our hormonal system's being attacked. The next thing with that same hormonal system we can add on there is our issues with insulin. And so now you start having cravings and people are eating more food. They can be linked to causing their obesity. It can be linked to their sweet cravings or their hypoglycemia because this hormonal system is thrown off, okay? And so I'm showing you this in pieces of a pie chart so you can start to see how this is creating havoc to the entire body. The circulatory system, oxygen, nutrients, the vasculature and inflammation in the cardiovascular system, the thyroid, the adrenal glands, the nerve tissue of the body, because the biofilm and these bacteria also can throw off what we call neurotoxins. So there's where we get all these neurological symptoms. So I'm wanting you to understand that when you're looking at this disease, chronic diseases, you have to look at the cause, and if you understand the cause to be infectious disease, like we mentioned here, or toxins or heavy metals, you have to see how this causes havoc to the entire body, So this is a whole body disease. This is why when it's treated, it needs to be treated as a whole body disease. So I want you to get this concept. Look at the cause, what's causing the problem, and then you can understand how that cause is affecting every major system inside our body. So thank you for joining me today at the Invita Whiteboard, and I hope this helps you better grasp chronic disease, autoimmunity, and infection.